You're watching One-on-One Sports, hosted by Erik Kendall and Christian Binder, with resident experts Tom Waterman, Greg Brzezowski, and Alex Rosenbaum, Billy O'Riordan, and Josh Norris, Robert Woner, and Michael Heil. Paulo de la Fell and Alex Sharon. Christine Williams and Aaron Moger. Welcome to One-on-One Sports.
Happy holidays and welcome to One-on-One Sports. I'm Christian Binder.
And I'm Erik Kendall. Thanks for joining us for our holiday special. And in the theme of the season, it's always better to give than to receive. So here are your starting five.
The 2022 World Cup has been awarded not to Australia, Japan, South Korea, or the United States, all teams who have played in a World Cup, but rather to Qatar, a country who has never qualified and will be the first Arab nation to host one of the world's largest events. Erik, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, it's a big deal for a small country on the Arab landscape.
Small is an understatement. The size of Connecticut. Qatar is the size of Connecticut.
Now, it'll be interesting to see if they can hold all these people for the biggest global event within the 4 years. The World Cup is a big deal. People will come from far and wide. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that, such a small country. And the team they field probably won't be the best. They've never qualified.
No, they haven't.
And we'll see how easy it is for some of these global powers to overtake them.
I'll tell you what'll be a
early.
big factor here, the heat. The summers in Qatar get up to 120 degrees.
Yeah,
That'd be
didn't
really,
even think
really
about
hard
that.
to play in.
Wow, I didn't even think about it. These guys are going to have to be physically fit, and it'll be tough playing in that part of the world as well. The New Orleans Hornets are currently without an owner, but it looks like that won't be for long, with the NBA set to step in as the owner to secure the sale of the team. Christian, are you okay with a league stepping in for the transition of ownership?
No, I'm not, but I understand why it has to be done.
Okay.
A team's not going to just sit there and flounder while they have no owner. I mean, the players have to get paid, and the only way to do that is to have an owner. But there's no precedent for this in the NBA, and one of the biggest things that they're missing that would make this easier is revenue sharing, and they don't have that. So the NBA is literally going to have to take full control of this team until they get a new owner.
Yeah, but it's a different deal than baseball. It's happened twice with the Expos becoming the Nationals and then the Rangers last year. It's going to be interesting, and even more interesting for the future of Chris Paul and where the organization will be. I've heard cities like Anaheim, Kansas City, who already has a pro arena, and then Chicago getting a second team. All viable places this team could go. But David Stern's kind of set on keeping it in New Orleans.
Oh, he has to be. It's a great thing for that city. That city needs all it can get, especially in the sports. I mean, the Saints, huge for that. The Hornets also with a surprisingly good start.
But if the owner doesn't want to keep him there and the money's somewhere else, you got to move him.
That's true.
It's just dollars
That's true.
and cents.
That's true. The NFL Players Union has told players to prepare for a lockout. Erik, what's the likelihood of a work stoppage next season?
Well, it seems to be increasingly more likely. The owners have almost no financial incentive to get it done. They're already going to get paid $5 billion from the network deals they have for television.
Right.
They're getting their checks in the mail. It's bigger for the players who are fighting for a good cause, I believe.
Yeah. I would tell you what the most ominous sign is for me is when Players Director DeMaurice Smith said, keep your family safe.
Yeah.
That to me, first of all, is ludicrous because these guys are making so much money. But that's just a sign that this is going to happen.
He also said on a scale of seriousness, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 14. It sounds like it's getting pretty heated. This usually happens before a deal is made, though. People really butt heads before something kind of comes of it. I'm worried.
I can't imagine a season without football.
Yeah, it'll be tough. It'll be tough on this show to come up with topics to talk about without the NFL going on. Ohio native LeBron James made his long-anticipated return to the Q in Cleveland last week and lit it up with 38 points in front of a hostile crowd. Christian, what did you make of the Kings' return to Cleveland?
Now, Erik, I think I'm going to shock you here a little bit, but I wasn't surprised at all.
Oh, my gosh.
This is exactly what I expected. What happened when he came out? The fans booed him. What did he do? He put on a great show. Of course he did. He's got all this energy stored up from all the hate. And so you knew he was going to turn it into something, and it happened to be a 38-point performance. So, no, I wasn't surprised at all.
I'll tell you what, Christian, a lot of stuff doesn't surprise you. It's sort of funny. Like, nothing really impresses you. I'd like to find something that impresses you. A guy going back into that sort of hostile territory where you know fans are going to be throwing stuff at you, screaming obscenities all night, and you put up that sort of performance, 24 points in the third quarter.
Yeah.
I was shocked at how well he handled it. LeBron comes across to me as someone who needs people to like him wherever he goes. And that night, he was the villain, and he owned it, and I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I loved his performance, but I just wasn't surprised by it at all.
And it's funny, the hostility by Cleveland was a little out
it was out of hand.
Yeah,
it was out of hand.
It kind of shows why maybe a city like that hasn't had a winner in a long time.
Luckily for Auburn, the NCAA Reinstatement Committee declared their one-man offense Cam Newton eligible after news came out that his father and an agent were working on a pay-to-play plan. Erik, what effect could this have on college football?
Well, it's funny that they declared him eligible, because then you have to be ineligible to be declared eligible. He played all his games. I don't see why you come out and say this. But I think this is an attempt by Auburn, who is a little scared off by the Reggie Bush situation, and they're looking to get a Heisman Trophy for sure. I don't even know who's close to Cam Newton for a Heisman Trophy, and a possible national championship. They don't want to have to be shipping those away in a year.
Yeah, I'm just confused by this whole situation because they disciplined his father, who has absolutely nothing to do with the NCAA, while his son plays on the field. Now, to tell me that Cam Newton had no idea that any of this is going on, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, how does he not know what his own father is doing in his football career?
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, not everyone knows everything that's going on with this. I don't think we're going to know all the details, but I think Cam Newton is pretty innocent from his point of view. You got to put it on. You got to put it on the adults in this situation. Time to take our first time out, but when one-on-one returns, Tom Waterman is going to break down who is going to get the best college present this season, the Heisman.